How's everybody doing today? Yep, number two. Um, and actually, I'm just going to add some stuff in from other stuff, but I do have to say one thing real quick. Um, yeah, I don't know what happened last night. See, okay. So I'm looking at my videos here, and if you look at my videos, I usually get 59, 60, 70, 40. I don't have a large platform. I don't really promote it. So when I wake up in the morning and I see stuff like this, 723 views, I got to say, holy crap. Um, I don't even know what's going on there now. Some of that's probably just AI crap. But I appreciate all the views. I appreciate everybody leaving a comment. Um, I do want to comment on one real quick, and and again, I don't let none of this stuff bother me because I see through a lot of stuff. But just remember, when you're out there in the world, okay, if you point your finger at somebody, you have three more pointing back at you. Okay, just remember that. Um, and when I talk with, okay, so and I mentioned Maverick quite a bit. I talk to him all the time. Now, I've never been an alcoholic. I've never been a druggie. I haven't been through a 12-step program. But the one thing that I realize about this world is probably every single person walking this planet needs to put themselves through their own 12-step program, because that program I've known people who've been there, and it all focuses on self and how you do in the world, so to speak. So when I get stuff like this, I just have to laugh. Mental illness has taken over your mind. Seek help. No, mental illness, if you believe everything that they tell you in this world, then I'm sorry, I'm not the one with mental illness. And I don't condone nobody. I still love that guy, whoever he is. I love everybody until they give me a reason not to. And just sticks and stones isn't going to be a good enough reason. I'm sorry. So it is what it is. But I do want to go on to something here real quick, because I've touched base about this before. I mentioned, Star Trek New Generation, right? And they talk about a cube in there. Now that particular cube, and again, check out some of these shows. I'm just saying, you may not be into science fiction, but get over it because you're living it. And if you look at that emblem right there, okay, so that's the same thing as what we have on Space Force, right? So you might want to check into some of this stuff because they're kind of pointing you in this direction. Now, in my opinion, is that the cube? Don't know, right? I only know what I see. I don't ever claim to really know anything. In fact, the more I learn about all this, it just proves the more I don't know, right? So, and I've showed this picture before too, where you've got the cube around the earth, right? Now, whether all of that is in a cube, that's part of the holographic reality we live in. In fact, in that show, Ship in a Bottle, in order to get out of the situation they were in, they actually created multiple holographic rooms inside the same room, which kind of goes back to being under the dome 3 different times. In the Bible, Peter rejected Jesus 3 times, right? 3 loops. And Peter's probably Pete Hegseth. I don't know. But anyhow, so whether that's the cube or not, and I think, again, it's all symbology because, again, in the 80s, there was a great big, huge cube craze going on, and it was this thing right here. Remember these things? Now, the thing about a Rubik's Cube is these are called sides, right? And this is a face. This is a face. This is a face, right? So we have a multiple sided thing with many faces of different colors. And everybody's trying to solve the riddle of where we live and what's going on. It's the micro and the macro. Nothing new under the sun. Other comments, people are talking, I'm beginning to believe that everything that we've been told is a lie. Yes, it is. Okay. It's all a cover story. Get it? It's a cover story, period. So we got the Rubik's Cube, we got that cube. We got Jesus and Peter being rejected 3 times. So, this part of the loop we've been through 3 times. Like I said, chances are we very well could live on something very similar to this. And this comes out of a movie too. This is an in-between shot when they're going from one main scene to another. This is in the movie Galaxy Quest. So flat Earth, globe Earth, there's a reason they'll let you argue over that crap, right? Compared to a globe, we would consider that flat, but it does have a slight curve to it. It is a remnant. Again, in the Bible, everything you see here is the remnant. A weather pattern is a remnant. The story you're watching is a remnant. All of it is just a remnant. All of it, of what was. So that it is what it is. So again, thanks for all the crazy views. Thank you for the comments. Like I said, I don't get into this for numbers or whatever. I just offer up a different perspective to what people are busy fighting over. It's not worth the fight, in my opinion. So love you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.